why I think that most people, or maybe even you, don't want it enough. And the reason I say that is because you can tell someone something as simple as work weekends, sacrifice 2 days a week to push a little harder and work a little bit more to get ahead and to get what you want. And I think most people's response to working weekends is like, oh, really? Like, that's the one time I get to relax. That's my 2 days off to spend with my friends, or watch my show, or do whatever it is that people like to do on the weekends. But if you ask someone directly, would you rather achieve your goals or watch football or hang out with your friends or eat food? Which one would you like in the long term? Which one do you want more? I think almost everybody would say I'd rather achieve my goals. But we don't act that out in the short term. We act out temporary pleasure and comfort in the short term, and then regret our long-term outcomes caused by our short-term actions. And I really think that if you're just not willing to work weekends, you probably don't want it bad enough. I work every weekend, both days, and it's really not that hard. Weekends are just another day of the week that people have decided don't need to be important, or don't need to be the exact same as the other 5 days out of the week. And it's like, if you have 7 days in a week, why would you not want to maximize the output and maximize the amount of money that you can make within those 7 days? And I think that if you want a normal life, or an average life, or just a comfortable, I would call it mediocre life, then yeah, work 5 days a week, take 2 days off, whatever. But if you want to be part of the top 10%, top 5%, top 1%, whatever it is that you're striving for, I think you should just accept that working more than most people and working weekends is a part of the price that you have to pay in order to achieve that goal. I've certainly accepted that as the price that I have to pay in order to get to where I want, at least for a certain period of time. Definitely at least for a certain period of time. But I'm okay with that trade. If I have to sacrifice more time while I'm younger to get to where I want to go, then I would make that trade every single time. And I think a lot of the questions that people ask, they have the answers to, and they just don't want to admit it. I think people ask questions like, how can I be more consistent? How do I stick to things? How do I work harder? How do you work so many hours? And it's just like, I just don't think that you want it bad enough, and I don't think that you're in enough pain in your current situation in order to take extreme action to change your position. Because the only thing that really causes extreme action or change is pain. And that's built off the pain and pleasure principle by, I'm pretty sure it's Dale, I don't even know how to say his name, but there's some guy who came with the pain and pleasure principle, something Ralio, I believe, and this is his name I'm trying to think of, but it basically means and states that humans make decisions off of two drivers, either run towards pleasure or away from pain. And usually the most extreme actions are a mixture of both. Like, you want to run towards pleasure and away from pain. But in my life and in my experiences, I can say specifically that it's always been Jesus. It's always been the biggest decisions and the most output that I've produced has been after extremely painful events. Because I just would rather do anything than stay in the current state that I'm in, the current position of life that I'm in, because it's that painful. And when you really are in that much pain in a certain situation in your life or a certain position in your life, you'll do whatever it takes to get out of it. And that's why most people who are successful, they work like crazy, because working hard week by week, month by month, year by year, consistently is not as painful for them as staying average or staying mediocre or staying below whatever their standard is. Because most successful people have really high standards for themselves and for their life and the people that they lead. And that's why for them it's so easy to just do whatever it takes to sacrifice it all to get their outcomes, because that's less painful than staying mediocre. And I do think that's driven by ego, and I think a lot of people just don't have an ego in the right way that serves them. I think most people have egos in the way that doesn't allow them to learn anything from anybody and wants to always be right about things. And I think that's the worst way to have an ego. I think the best way to have an ego is to be extremely humble and to learn from other people and learn from those who are in positions you want to emulate, and then relentlessly applying the things that you learn to become better than everybody and anyone who taught you how to do the thing, and take little bits and pieces from every person that taught you and disregarding anything that wasn't competent advice. But within having a big ego, that's what makes you want to be number one. That's what makes you want to be the best. That's what causes you to, drive for significance or want importance or desire financial success or whatever form of success that you're after. Like for me, recently I've learned that financial success is a driver of it, it's a part of it, but I'm really more after significance and importance. Like I feel that is my core motivation. I just want to be important. I want to feel significant. I want to feel like what I do matters, and I want to feel like the things that I do impact other people in a positive way. And for a long time, I really didn't have any idea that that was driving me whatsoever. I really thought it was just a money thing, and I only recently came to that conclusion because I was more or less counting my money, doing my accounting, and realized like it's just money, man. It's just paper. Like it really doesn't matter that much. But it's satisfying in a way of knowing that I provided value to exchange for that currency, and knowing that I'm developing some form of significance along the way within a given domain. It's raining outside, so that might be what you're hearing if that's catching up on the microphone. And it is a Saturday today that I'm recording this video, and I'm working it, so it kind of stands to the point of what I'm talking about. And to go back to that point, not to mention, not do I only work weekends, I work weekends all day. So Saturday I work 6:30 to 10, usually ends up being about 6:30 to 10:30, because I have to finish up closing my store. And then Sunday I'll work 6:30 to about 10 o'clock, because we close 30 minutes earlier. So it's just like, why can't you work weekends? What's so difficult about it? What's so interesting about pointless pleasures? I cannot grasp my head around it. And I told this to a coworker, I think last week. I told the person, I was like, man, I wish I could do stuff like that, but I think there's something mentally wrong with me, because if I try to have fun, I will have fun for about 30 minutes, and then afterwards I'm like, wow, I could be working right now and making more money and, getting closer to my goals. And right now I'm like rewarding myself, and I'm not even where I want to be yet. But I think that's kind of what gets me my competitive advantage, is that like I think about what I want so much, and there's nothing else I can really do other than that thing until I get to where I'm going. Like I don't feel like I really deserve fun. I'm 22. I haven't achieved any monumental thing yet. I'm not rich, right? I'm not financially independent. I'm not location independent. I don't have the car I want. I don't have a house. Like there's a bunch of things that I want that I don't have, and for me to give positive reinforcement or fun to my current reality, I feel like would just mess me up. Honestly, I feel like it's a logic fail. I just don't think I deserve it yet. Like I would achieve something, and then maybe okay, I can go have fun or do whatever this thing is. And I know a lot of people like it's not that serious. Like you deserve to have some fun, but I haven't heard one person who's in a position in life that got to themselves that I would want to emulate who said something along those lines. Everyone who's in the position who I want to be in, or is close to the position I want to emulate, and has got there themselves, has said things like 80 hours a week is the minimum. Like this is what it takes. This is what's required. And they've suggested about 84 hours a week or 85 hours a week, and they've all explained to me how all they did was work for a long period of time and sacrifice pretty much everything to get to where they want to go. And those are the people whose advice I take, because they're closer to the journey, or they're closest to the outcome that I want to achieve. Alright, so that's why I really think everyone should work weekends. I think men should work weekends. But that's only if your goals are to be above average and are to achieve great things. If you don't, if you want to make $50K a year, if you want to buy a $350,000 house, you're $100K in debt, 17 pounds overweight, then yeah, I mean, go for that life. And I'm not saying that like judgmentally. Those are just average statistics off the top of my head, and like all those sound absolutely horrendous to me. I would hate to live that life, so that's why I say that. But anyways, until the next video, we haven't gotten to a point where there's a lot of you guys commenting yet, or really anyone commenting yet, except for the first video I posted about a week ago. But when you guys do start commenting, please comment below what kind of videos you want to see from me. Right now I'm just doing them off the top of my head while I drive to work in the morning. But on the nights that I have off, I will start making more sit-down videos on my couch, like the first one I made, and the whiteboard videos, because you guys those seem to get a little bit more attention than these ones. So I'll put in more effort towards those and keep creating. But until then, peace out, guys.